Ladies and gentlemen, it is Sunday. Welcome to the Grand Prix of Mexico. Welcome to round 2 of the Premier Formula Racing League. Like I said, tonight we are in Mexico City, which counts in total 3 DRS zones. We have 17 turns, so expect a lot of overtaking during the race. And first, of course, we are going to see who is gonna take pole position for this race. We saw last time that Alex managed to get pole position in Jeddah, but here it's a whole other story because Ovek also went away with the W, with the win. So let's see if he can manage to keep that win also here in Mexico City. We have a few changes. Of course, we have some reserve drivers. Kara, Uskan, Sakuro, KSK and Matthijs can't race today. Instead, we see Monzoliti, right now P7. In the Mercedes, he is replacing Sami Kara. We also see Liar replacing Uskan in the Alpine. We have Scherzi. And I say that because I can't... Oh, there we go. He's in P8. In the Haas, he's replacing Zakuro. And we have also Sean replacing KSK in the Haas. And last but not least, Gandalf again replacing someone. This time it is Matthijs in the Williams. We're gonna look out for who is gonna take that pole position. We have in total 18 minutes to decide the pole position driver. Favorites are of course Ovek and Luka Jovic. We can take a look here at the team standings. Of course, we have the McLaren right now, who is on top of it with that 1-2 finish in Jeddah. By the way, Nitsen did not end up in P2 after a FIA decision. He was going back to P4, I guess. If we look at that driver standings, can we see that right here? Yes, we can. We see indeed Nitsen, so P4. Previous race results basically here. Luca who ended up in P2 and Wagdy in P3. Because of that time penalty Nitsen got in the end because of a collision. Nothing really special here. We just see the results last time out. But it counts who is gonna take pole position right here, as we are now on board with Coke for that first lap. I actually want to see the time. There we go, yes. Waggy sets the first lap with a 1:16.5, but we are on board right now with Coke. Coke, who is not that fast as Wagdy and Alex are here. We see also Shaw in a lap. Oh, he is in the pits actually. Okay, well, that's unfortunate for him. As we see that Jer Akroker sets a 59 here. I actually want to see the minimap. There we go. Now we can see who is crossing the line. For example, we see that McLaren crossed the line right now, so that has to be either Ovek. Yes, Ovek. who is in a lap. We're gonna follow him, Ovek, who took the race win last time out. Can he manage to get pole position right here in Mexico City? As he goes through turn 3 and opens the DRS. Into sector 2. He sets the first purple sector. Question is, how does he go through these corners? You have to nail these corners. If you got turn 1 wrong, then you fuck up this sector basically. So let's say 56 here, which is quite fast, not the fastest. As he has some traffic, some dirty air from the Alpine in front of him. Oh, and he almost loses the car. Well, he does lose the car and he goes into the pits, of course. We have more. We have Angry Dude also on a lap in sector 1 right now. We see that Nitsen sets a 3rd time and Tainsy sets a 4th time. It's pretty close between the top 4 there. 5, I must say, because P4 and P5 are only a 5,000 difference. But here, Angry Dude, who loses the car completely in that corner. The backhand slipped away. And gone is his lap. As we see that Tommy right now is also in a lap. Let's go on board with him. Tommy, who couldn't be in that last race, unfortunately. So let's see what he can do as he sets the first purple sector. We've seen that before with Angry Dude who slipped away after that. But how will Tommy do this? Goes very safe here. Cuts the corner. Goes on the throttle, of course. Turns on DRS and sets a 56.9, which is the fastest sector time in sector 2, which we have seen so far. Question is, how does he do the stadium section? He goes through the last corner here. Pretty wide, actually. He sets a 16.2. If he narrows that corner, I think there is more time in it. But not at the moment. As we switch to Luke Walso, who completely messed up his lap. He invalidated his lap, so that will not be enough. Let's see who else is on a lap. There is a Ferrari going, and that is the Ferrari of Hardy, who didn't set a lap time yet. So let's see what he can do as he goes into turn 1. You see that he cuts the corner quite aggressively, which gains him time in this game. He goes a little bit wide over there. But perfectly lined up here through those corners. Now through the S's we go. Almost loses it, and I thought that was an invalidation, but clearly not. 57.2, which is 3/10 slower than we saw Tommy do. So as he messes up the whole 3rd sector here. So let's see what he can do with that mistake. This will not be a great time at all, but it will be a time, and that time will be enough for P8 here. As we also see that, yeah, our Groker is going for his 2nd lap in this qualifying session. Also cuts the corner there. Only the 2nd corner. The 3rd corner isn't that popular to cross over. He is only 0.02 of a second faster than his original time. which will not be enough yet for his pole position. As the computer says, it is a purple Sector 1. Well, we believe it then, I guess. Let's see how he brings it on. Through the S's we go. On the throttle. And let's see what time he gets in Sector 2. He gets a 56.5, which is a tenth ahead of the time he originally was. Now on board with him. The final corner. On the throttle. Keeps it very tight and goes fastest, but only with 0.04 of a second. So that margin is very, very little. Let's see if we have someone on a lap here. Is that Knudsen? Yes, it is. Knudsen is on a lap. A tenth ahead on his time. Now 0.3 ahead through the second sector. 0.3 will bring him on a 16.0, which will be enough for a P3 here. Let's see how he does Sector 3. He keeps it very tight here. Cross the line, a 15.9. A 59. That third sector was faster than he had before. Pretty good then. Only 0.2 between the top 3. Which clearly states how close it is here in the Premier Formula Racing League. So we also see that Luka Jovic is now on a lap. As everyone else does, he cuts the corner there. He cuts corner 2 and 3. And goes on the throttle here for Sector 1. Let's see what he can produce. Through the S's we go, on board with him. Cuts the corner very, very tight. And out here. Seems like he has a very loose backhand, but he managed to keep it stable. And we saw a short purple Sector 2. And because he has no time yet, we don't see if he goes fast at all. So let's see what he has as he crosses the line here. A 15.8, which will be enough for P3. He gets the car between the Red Bull and the McLaren. As we also see Monzolitti cross the line for P13. And we see that Ovek takes the fastest lap by a tenth of a second. Which is crazy fast. 15.6. The track is clearly improving. Clearly improving. As we also see that Tainsi is now in a lap. Well, not entirely, because he is a second of the pace of what he was. But a 15.6 as it stands for the provisional pole for Ovek. Who is on a lap? Oh, I thought he was on a lap, Luke Walsall, because it said that he was faster. But apparently not. Let's see if Alex is on a lap here. Doesn't seem like it. Someone is in turn 1. Who is that then? I think it's A-Lord. Okay, he's on an out lap. Do we have someone in a lap? We have 4 minutes left in this qualifying session. As it stands, Ovek will take pole position here in Mexico. Question is, can he hold that position? Because Luke Walsall, the defending world champion, didn't set a entirely good lap at all. And we also have Luka Jovic, who can improve. In that second sector, we saw him slip away a little bit. So I think it will be better that time. Here we have Rymox, who isn't on a lap as well. We see that the two Alpha Towers are now in Sector 3. Maybe one of them is starting a lap soon. You see that angry dude was on a lap. And sets a 18.2, which will be enough for P19. Let's see. Pole contender. Jer Agroger. His final lap of this session is ongoing. As he is a 10th slower than he was. Well, if I were you, Jer, I would cut off your lap here and start over. And that is exactly what he does. Because he has some time left. And I think Alex is on an out lap. Yes, he is. Right now in Sector 1. Who is crossing the line first? That is the question. Is that Sherzy? Yes, it is. But he goes 11th fastest. Or is he on the lap? Hard to see. Cuts the corner, so he might be on the lap. I think he is pushing. Okay, we have someone who is pushing, and it is Sherzy. On board now with him in Sector 1. He is 500 slower than he was in the lap before. We have also Alex starting a lap, and A-Lord in a lap. And Ovek in an out lap, who is starting the lap right now, as it seems. We're still on an out lap, then he can't make it, right? He can't, no, he cannot make it. Okay, then, on board now with Alex in Sector 1, the pole contender. He's gonna fight Ovek, of course. He wants that pole position. That crash behind the safety car from last race. He wants to forget all about it. And he wants to take that race win right here in Mexico City. But the question is, first, can he manage to get that pole position? As it seems right now, he is slower than Sector 1. Now through the S's we go here. Through Sector 2 we go. Cuts all the corners, nice and clean. Goes on the throttle and gets that DRS. Sector 2 is only 1/100th of a second slower than he was as he spins. And there goes the pole contender. Now switching to Luka Jovic as Nitsun Ohana sets the fastest lap of the qualifying session. A 15.4 by a mile faster than Ovek. Question is, can Luka Jovic do something about this? Is A-Lord retired, not a pole contender anymore? Oh, as Luka spins and is out of qualifying session, which probably means that Nitsun is still up for pole. Tommy, can he take pole position from Nitsun? Can he do it in his first race back in the Premier Formula Racing League? No, he cannot. He cannot, which means that Nitsun Ohana will take pole position here in Mexico City. Unless Ovek can improve, well, he can, but not enough. So it means Nitsun Ohana will take his pole position in round 2 here in Mexico in the Premier Formula Racing League. And look at the times, look how close it is between the top 5. Only 3/10 between them. This is gonna be a brilliant race. We have the lineup ready for you and we will go racing in a few minutes. This is gonna be epic. Rest of the grid. So we have Knudsen in pole position and the McLaren of Ovek in P2. We have a front row lockout between the McLarens. Behind them, we have Alex in P3. We have Agroker in P4. Luka Jovic only P5. 3/10 behind and 5/10 behind. We have Luke Walstow. P7, Tommy Plasto. P8, Tainsy, P9, Ben Dixon, P10, Wagdy. And all them between 1 to 12. We have all the drivers in 1 second. This is gonna be so close. We do not have a formation lap. We go straight into racing after this countdown has finished, of course. Everyone needs to make sure they have the right tires. And we need to make sure that we are right on time for the lights out. We have 20 seconds left. And then we go racing. Can't wait. All right. Waiting for players. As we have 5 red lights on for the Mexican Grand Prix here in the Premier Formula League. And they're out and we're on our way and we see that Knudsen has a brilliant start. Ovek also, but Alex is already right beside him. And we see all the cars going side by side. We have 4 cars behind them as we see that they touch and Luka chooses the safe way. And we see that Knudsen takes the first, but behind we see all crashes. Oh, someone is out there. Someone is definitely out there. We have Jer going back all the way from P4, going back to P19. We have a yellow flag. Nothing yet for a safety car. But that start was not what Jer Agroker would have wanted here. But it is the start which Alex would have wanted because he already gets 1 position off the line. Luka also involved within that crash. Now P14. And Alex is really close to the back of Knudsen. He really wants to get past anytime soon. Can he do it without any DRS? He is on the medium tire. But he is not making it yet. We also see that Tommy is now inside of the pits. We see Luka inside of the pits. We see Shaw inside of the pits. That turn 1 incident will be looked at, definitely. We saw some cars flying there. So we have now some time to see on what tire everyone is on. Okay, it explains the good start from Alex. He is on the medium tire. He already gets P2 in front of Ovek. They go very slow here in this section of the track. Well, it seems slow, but believe me, it is quite fast. But Alex really is on the back end of that McLaren. He is switching around a lot. He is taking a whole other line as he tries it here on the inside, but almost crashes into the back. And probably it's because we have a safety car and we didn't get a notification from that. Thank you, EA. Brilliant game. Love it. It was a virtual safety car. We are racing again. It was yellow for a bit and we have green, and Alex is very much awake. He is awake and he is gaining on Nitsen. He has that overtake button on and Nitsen needs to defend here. Alex can go a little bit deeper. Yes, he can, and he takes that P1 from Nitsen. Oh no, he is not, because Nitsen fights back around the outside and he gets a brilliant exit, which means he can try it into turn 4. Question is, will he? Seems like he is holding back, as we also see that Ben Dixon and Luke Wolstow are in a fight here. Really close between the two of them. It seems like we are in a DRS train here. As we see Ben Dixon goes very wide. But what a shame for Luka Jovic, who is now P18, got involved in that sandwich. We saw him go 4 wide into turn 1, which, well, cannot go well at all in that corner. As we settle down here, we have Alex driving away now, already 1 second in front of Nitsen. But I think Nitsen has DRS. We also see that Tainsy is now side by side with Ovek and takes P3 here into turn 1 on that medium tire, of course. Definitely a change. That medium tire is, of course, very good in the beginning of the race. It will slowly go backwards, and the hard compound tire, I think around lap 10-11 will go faster than that medium tire. Tainsy is now at the back of Nitsen. Of course, he is on that medium tire and he is the only one getting DRS here on the straight. Does that mean he can go for it? He also gets the fastest lap of the race. And he does have DRS, which means he also has some DRS for turn 4. Seems like he is only getting closer to Nitsen, not really close enough to do anything. We also see that from P1 to P6 we have a DRS train and we have a yellow flag. Interesting, for the end of the race we have a Groger who has a 3-second time penalty, together with Angry Dude, who also has a time penalty. We saw in the beginning of this race that Tommy also had a time penalty, but he served that under the pit. Nitsen is now out of that DRS zone from Alex. He will not get any DRS. Question is, can Tainsy take the gamble and try it into turn 1? He is only 5/10 away from Nitsen here. But that is unfortunately too far. Let's see in the back here as we see Jerzy and Gandalf racing together. And we also see that Nitsen gets a 3-second time penalty, which is not good at all. First, we have the battle between Schurzy and Gandalf. Is Schurzy gonna try it here? No, he is not. He's taken another line from Gandalf. Wanted to cut inside, but needs to back out because of that. And we also see that Tommy gets a time penalty. The time penalties are really flying in this race. And Tainsy is going a little bit backwards here. 8 tenths now behind Tainsy. And we see that Ovek is much closer to the back of Tainsy. And we also see that the Mercedes of Tommy did not finish, but he retired in the pit lane. Which means we will not get anything of a safety car at all. Saw him stand there inside of the pits. Not sure what happened. Maybe an engine failure. Wouldn't be the first time for Mercedes. He also left the session. That is it for his first race back in the Premier Formula Racing League for Tommy. Ends up with a DNF, which is totally not what he wanted, of course. And we also see that Tainsy is now again really close to the back of Nitsen. Tries to take another line here. But he is so close in here. I think that Nitsen has a very low downforce. Which means he is fast on the straights, but very slow through these corners. You see him drive away as well, while the Aston Martin of Tainsy has DRS. So I think that is it. He will be very slow in here. You also see that from the car. And Ovek is so close to the back now of Tainsy. Can we take a look at him? Because he might try it. He's only 3 tenths up from Ovek. But Tainsy now is much closer to the back of Nitsen. And he is going to try it. To the inside he goes, and he is seen. Tainsy is past Nitsen here. We have a yellow flag, and that is, I think, Xiao. Xiao who spun round and doesn't have a front wing anymore. Yeah, that is not what you want in this race, because you need that front wing. Now, how fast can Tainsy go to the back of Alex? Because Alex is driving away here, which is not what Tainsy or Nitsen or Ovek exactly want. By the way, who did make a great start here is Ben Dixon, who already has P5. Started on P9 and is now in P5, as we see that Xiao did not finish for the Haas. Nitsen stays within that DRS zone, but as he is on the hard compound tire, he will not probably go for anything. And we also see that Tainsy here has his red light flickering, which means he is out of that ERS, which is pretty important for the rest of the race. We are only in lap 9, as we see that Ovek is now really close to the back of Nitsen. They are teammates. What are they gonna do? We also see that Nitsen has no ERS left, so there probably needs to be some team conversations going on right there. And we have a VSC. For what? Do we have a virtual safety car? Liar did not finish. Can we see anything from that? He is in that pit lane, as it seems. So he might have DNF'd inside of that pit lane. And we see DRS enabled again, which means it is green again. And we see that Ovek is now really close to the back of Nitsen. Doesn't get a brilliant exit from that last corner. But they need to work together to go back to Tainsy. Go back probably to Alex, who did not get a really good restart here. Bendixen going very deep into that first corner, which will cost him time. He will get the DRS in here because he already crossed that line out of that last corner. The two McLarens very close to each other. Question is, what are they gonna do? Are they switching it up? Maybe say Ovek is faster than you. Nitsen has a time penalty, so why not? At least try it. Alex already running away. It was 1.2 seconds in that turn 1 and now already 1.7 seconds. He really got that Red Bull flying. As we see that Cherzy also got a 3-second penalty. Very common here that we get penalties. Nitsen is getting closer, but not close enough. Maybe, as we see that there is another yellow flag. Rymox retired inside of the pits again. Not really a crash, so to say. And Nitsen doesn't get that exit right out of turn 3, which cost him so much time that he can't make that overtake work on Tainsy. Ovek still very close to the back end of Nitsen, but Ovek gets a really good exit out of that turn 3. So why not switch it around? We are, of course, talking about a podium position, but Nitsen also knows Ovek is P1, I am P4 in the driver's standings. Nothing has been decided yet. No one is a second teammate, as he is very close to the back of Tainsy here. Out of that last corner. How good of an exit will he get? Seems like Ovek again has that better exit. Question is he going for it? He is now very close to the back of Ovek and they will switch things around. Now, can Ovek try it in Tainsy? He get that good exit out of turn 3 here. We will get DRS, of course. And he is 4/10 off the back of Tainsy. Luckily, we have 3 DRS zones. As he takes another line here. And we see Tainsy really struggling with that medium compound tire. And we also see Nitsen really pushing Ovek, like, you passed me, bro, but please go faster. Show me what you've got. And Ovek is showing that as he goes very deep here in this corner and is very close to the back of Tainsy in here as well. But he has that higher downforce. You immediately see that and he gets a good exit now. But the important thing is that he gets a good exit out of that last corner, which he does not really get. He still misses out on 1/10 of a second. And that brings him again on 6/10 of a second. Which brought him nowhere in the past couple of rounds. You really need to be within that 4, maybe 3/10 of a second out of that last corner. But he is now really close to Tainsy. And to turn 4 they go. But still, he doesn't do anything as we see that someone spun round, which is Angry Dude. He would probably be angry. And Bendixen also still catching up with the race leaders. Well, the race leader is 3 seconds ahead. But insane racing are we watching here. Remember, Alex is on that medium compound tire. Tainzi is as well. Probably not as fast as... Oh, Ovek touches the backhand of Tainzi there. And again, on the straight they go. How much time in between them? We need to watch that. We have 5 tenths between them. That is a tenth closer than we had last time around. Remember what I said? 4 tenths is enough. And as it seems, as easy as it goes, Ovek is past Tainzi. And also, in the back, we see that Nitsen is trying it. But does not succeed. He loses the car and therefore does not manage to get that P3 from Tainzi. Tainzi still ahead of Nitsen. We see Hardy going harder and harder in 19.1 here to set the fastest lap. Also, Luca really wants to join this party, but he is 2.8 seconds away from P12. And how much time is that? I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that as well. So he's 30 seconds behind the racing leader. He needs a safety car. Luca needs a safety car here. And we see also another battle going on at the back between Sherzy, Gandalf and Agroker joined that club. As we also see that Nitsen again gets a 3-second time penalty, which means he already has 6 seconds of time penalties. Sherzy still behind Gandalf, eating his nails off, or biting his nails off, I must say. And of course Agroker also wants to go back into that fight with the front. But all of them, they really need a safety car to get back in this race. Nitsen now very close to the back of Tainzi. He will get DRS, but Tainzi will get DRS as well. Not close enough apparently to make the move into turn 14. Now, through the stadium section we go into that final corner. Nitsen didn't manage to get a good exit. And we see that Tainzi is going in. Tainzi is going in for that hard compound tire. Which now means Nitsen is free to go. As well as Ovek. Free to go. No more fights. They can both now focus on their driving. We also see... No, we are not seeing anything more than we already saw. Because Tainzi is still in the pits. And he comes back on the track in P10. He made one stop. I think he went to that hard compound tire. Yes, he did. And he will probably drive this race out with that hard compound tire, of course. We also see that Sherzy and Gandalf are now side by side. But Gandalf managed to stay ahead of Sherzy. But at least Sherzy is trying. At least Sherzy is trying. He is not sitting and waiting. He wants to fight. He wants to get a higher position. But he also needs to watch his back as he runs out of ERS. And Jair Agroker knows that. As we don't see anything anymore. But now we do. On board now with Sherzy. We also see that Alex is in the pits. Okay. I thought maybe there was a problem, but Alex is in the pits. Then we can go back to Jair Agroker and Sherzy and Gandalf. Now 5 tenths behind Gandalf. What does that mean? Well, it means that Sherzy still doesn't have any ERS. We see that Jair Agroker is saving his ERS because he also sees that Jersey and Gandalf are both out of ERS as he tries it here around the outside. And he gets tangled by Jersey. Gets tangled by Jersey. This day couldn't be any worse for Jer Groker. Position gone, fight gone, Alex gone, because Alex now takes back his P7 out of the pit on that cold hard compound tire. And Jersey made an awful mistake here. They went side by side. Jersey probably wouldn't have expected that. Jersey broke also a little bit early from what I saw. And J.R. Croker left enough space. But Jersey wanted that position so badly. And now gets into the pits. Doesn't seem like a Croker doesn't have any problems. But this is such a shame. Because he could have got P6 from Gandalf on his own probably. But yeah. Cry and start again. Ovek now, the new race leader, still needs to pit, of course. And a safety car would be so good for him. Not only for him, but look at a Croker. And look at Luka Jovic. Both of the drivers who you would expect at the front. As we have a yellow flag here. And that is Coke. Coke spun it around. No safety car for that. Alex now in the fight with Wagdy. Alex, of course, wants to get up. But Wagdy also knows, if I hold you up, Ben Dixon has a higher chance of finishing ahead of Alex. So Wagdy gives it all here on the straight into turn 1. And Alex is now right beside him. Alex doesn't have any ERS left. Which is not good for the rest of the race. And got P6 here. In total, we have another one going off. And we have a safety car. We have a full safety car. Angry Dude did not finish here. And we will see that right here. Because we are on board now and we see the car is totally messed up. He crashed hard there. And we have a safety car. Who is gonna benefit? Ovek and Nitsen and Ben Dixon. Question is, will they stay ahead of Alex? Well, Nitsen needs to leave a gap here of at least 3 seconds. Otherwise, he is too quickly into the pit together with Ovek. And he will, of course, do that. Who else is going into that pit? We see that Luke Walstow also joins the club. We see that Ben Dixon is joining the club. They go to the medium tire, as well as Nitsen goes to the medium tire. And we see that Ben Dixon overtook Nitsen inside of the pit lane. Yes, he did. Because of that double stacking. And we see that all Alex is pushing while it is a yellow flag. Yeah, apparently that is allowed here. And of course, Luca is inside of the pits. And goes to that medium compound tire. Interesting to see where he ends up. Because we already said he needs a safety car. If he wants to go to the front, he needs a safety car. And he got one. He definitely got one. And he is in front of A-Lord. Which is even better. Only one position lost. Which is Jersey. But Luca is on that medium tire. Let's see what everyone brought on here. Alex together with Aloy, the only ones on the hard compound tire. This is gonna be a very tough race for Alex. At least we have an Aston Martin leading the race. Not the Aston Martin Luca would have wanted. Oh, that safety car is so slow. I think Alex cannot heat his tires enough, but we will see. Bendixen on the back end of Alex. It's gonna be an exciting sprint race till the end. We have 5 DNFs already. We have time penalties going over. And we have P4 Nitsen with 6 seconds, Wagdy with 3 seconds, Groker with 3 seconds, Aloy with 6, Coke with 9, Hardy with 9 seconds. So we have Hardy catching up right now at the field, which I hope means that safety car is in this lap. Will we get a notification for that? I'm not sure. Not sure at all. You can see if the lights go off of that safety car, and they will not. But they might go off here. Yes, they will. Safety car in this lap. Okay. Now it is gonna be exciting. Ovek on that medium compound tire. We have Alex on that hard compound tire. And behind him, all of them are on the medium compound tire. Except for his teammate Aloy. But he doesn't need to worry about him. Where is Ovek going? Where is Ovek going? There he goes, and Alex is totally not awake, who is on the inside, which means that Bendixen can go around the outside without any use of DRS. And they go side by side into that first corner. Can Nitsen do anything here? No, he cannot. But Alex is seen by Bendixen, and Bendixen takes P2 in this race. And we see behind that Nitsen is now very close in the back end of Alex, who is probably going to try it into turn 4 here. On the inside he goes, side by side. They leave enough space to each other. The Williams and the Alpine also going for it. And Nitsen round the outside here. And Alex spins round. Alex spins round. And gone P1 for him. Nitsen and Alex take each other out. Well, Nitsen takes Alex out, and that leaves Ovek, Bendixen and Nitsen as the great winners here, and Alex as the big loser. Very close here, Luke Wolstow and Gandalf. And behind also Wagdy and Tainsy. Tainsy now back into P7. And on the straight they go, all so close to each other. And we see Tainsy even closer to Wagdy here. Only a 10th. Will he try and go for it into turn 1? Wagdy is not really defending it. But Tainsy isn't really going for it. And we also see Luca now past Alex. Alex on that hard compound tire can try anything, but wouldn't succeed is my guess. Now further up front we have Ger Groker, who has gained some positions. who does not have a clean race at all, but tries to fight back here. Very close now except for the top 3, and we see that Gandalf has spun it. Gandalf now far behind. Has he lost anything? Is the question. He does not. Anything is still possible. With Luke, Wagdy, Tainsy, a Croker, Cherzy, and Luka Jovic and Alex all going behind each other as a real train. They all fight for that P4 position. And behind we see that Cherzy and Luka are now side by side. Luka is trying to go for it. Round the outside. Into turn 1 they go. Cherzy does not give up. Wants to fight back, but already lost the position to Luka. Luka now on a fight back. He wants that podium position, I can imagine. Next target, Jer Croker. We have a yellow flag again, and that is A-Lord, who spun around together with Monzolito. Probably a bit touched. Someone has damage? No, neither of them. Must have been contact there. No damage, only positions. Back to that DRS train. Back to Luka Jovic, who is really going for it, who is faster, who has been faster the whole weekend. And now, behind, already besides Jared Croker. Around the outside now for Luka. Leaves enough space. And in front he goes. Next target is his own teammate. Who wouldn't be that difficult, I guess. He needs to defend from a Croker, of course. But does that in the inside. And got that position now. All done. Looking up front, we also see that Luke Walsall already has lost 5 seconds to Ben Dixon. And Knudsen is in front of Ben Dixon, which does not really mean anything because he has a 6-second time penalty. But it does mean anything from Ben Dixon because Ovek and Knudsen have both a time penalty. So if Ben Dixon stays within that 3 seconds, and he might get P1 here. That would be something for the Alfa Romeo driver. First up, Luka versus Jared Croker. What am I saying? We have also Tainsy and Wagdy fighting for it. And Luka is still ahead here. And Tainsy is also ahead. He gained a position here from Wagdy. But it did cost him a lot of ERS. Nothing really left. For Wagdy, that is a little bit different. He has still around 30% left. And Luka, who is really pushing, only has 17% left. But we saw what he could do. And he is fast. But is he faster than Wagdy? That is the question. Jared Croker is, for example, in the back of Luka. Not using any ERS. He doesn't want to try it right here. But they are all so close to each other. They are on the same level. And you see that Cherzy also made an overtake on Alex, which is pretty good in that stadium section. The crowd would have loved that, to see that. But Alex will get here the DRS and goes past Cherzy again for P9. Oh, but Hardy, hold on a second, is taking both of them round the outside into turn 1. Hardy takes P9 here from Sherzy and Alex. I did not expect that. Alex did not expect that. Sherzy did not expect that. No one expected that. Hardy now, P9. And as I say that, Luca and Wegdy are going for it, and Wegdy loses the car there. Which means that Kroger and Luca both now gained that position from Wegdy. Wegdy would not have been happy about that, as Luca looks ahead. Literally looks ahead, because Luke is ahead. Yeah, I thought that was funny. Hardy gets a 3-second time penalty again. Would be curious how much he already has. 12 seconds, okay. And we have a yellow flag. Who is that? Is that A-Lord? It is A-Lord, who spun round in Sector 2 in the S's, but managed to keep it going. No safety car for that. Luke very close to the backhand of Tainsy. Same can be said about J.R. Kroger and Luka Jovic. This will be a very exciting finale of this race. And with all those time penalties, also Luca now has time penalty. Luke Walstow does not have a time penalty yet. And Ben Dixon does have that time penalty, which he shouldn't have. Because clearly he threw away his P1 here. The only person without any time penalties in the top 10 is Luke Walstow. But yeah, the only thing he can gain is P4. Luca wants to get past here. Luke Walstow still gets DRS from Tainsy. So Luka Jovic will say to Tainsy, well, hurry up, because I need to pass him here. We see that Luke Walstow very close now to the backhand of Tainsy. Will he try it into turn 4? Oh, what a brilliant camera angle. He locks up a little. And is so close. And Ofek still ahead. Ofek now P1 again. Will he get that back-to-back victory? That would be something. As Wegdy gets another 3-second time penalty. Which means he is also out of competition for that top 5 finish. We have a battle going on for P4. Luke Walstow, Tainsy, Luka Jovic and J.R. Kroger. The advantage is for Luke Walstow, who does not have any time penalties. He needs to keep it that way. But here, I wanted to say he gets a very good exit, but he doesn't, unfortunately. And we see that J.R. Kroger is now right beside, round the outside. He tries it into turn 4, does not succeed. Now cuts around the inside. Oh, I thought he went for it, but he didn't. It's so close between the 4 of them here. They are so close to each other. Now lap 31 is already counting. 6 laps to go in this round 2 of the Premier Formula Racing League in Mexico City. We see Tainsy going very defensive here from Luke Walstow. He knows he has that DRS, but Luke Walstow will not try it into turn 1. He wants that good exit out of that third corner. Question is, will he get it? Well, a Groger will not get it. He goes very wide there. And Luke Walstow is looking, but is just not close enough to the back of Tainsy. Tainsy still managed to hold up that Alpine, but Luca cannot do anything with that. He needs that DRS gone from Luke Walstow. Tainsy is holding up a lot of people right now. Question is he doing that on purpose? Maybe he is. Maybe he wants that Luke is falling back. And he wants that Luke is falling back into Luka Jovic. Maybe Luka is saving some batteries. And we see that right here. The answer is yes. But Luke at the same time is saving some energy. So if Luka is charging his battery, then there wouldn't be a fight at all yet. Lap 32. Who is gonna take P4? If it stays like this, Luke Walstow is going to take P4 with all those penalties. Nitsen will stay will go P. 9 seconds already. He gets another penalty as I say it. 9 seconds. Well, he would probably keep that P3 position. Probably keep that podium position. And McLaren will be far ahead of the rest of the grid. But Aston Martin is also fighting for it. They want as much points as they can get. Luke Walstow, the only Alpine left in this race, needs to take care of all the points for Alpine. Oh, and a Groger and Luca touch, which means Luca is now out of the DRS zone of Luke Walstow, or is he? A Groger went very deep there in that stadium section and touched Luka Jovic. And that will cost him his DRS. And that will cost him maybe a position, because a Groger is going round the outside here. Has now the inside line, but Luca doesn't leave any space for a Groger to attack in that second corner. Now will he try it into turn 4? No, he doesn't want to make the dive bomb there. But Luca is now not anymore in that DRS zone. He will ask Tainsy to hold Luke Walstow up here to get back into that DRS zone. Or can he do it himself? Well, he is gaining already. He's already almost within that 1 second. Still 1. Now he is 9/10 in between is the gap. But Luke Walstow is so close to the back also of Tainsy. But Luca just needs to attack Luke Walstow. Lap 34 of 36. Only 3 laps to go. Luke will try it. Of course he will try it. He wants to win that fight on track as he tries it round the outside. But doesn't succeed at all. Now into turn 4. Can he put the car next to the car of Tainsy into turn 4? The answer is again no. He is close, but doesn't dare to do the dive bomb yet. And I can understand him, because he's the only one who does not have any time penalty in that top 5. As Ben Dixon gets another time penalty, which will not mean anything because Tainsy is 10 seconds behind of Ben Dixon. But it does maybe mean that he doesn't get that P2 anymore, as Luke Walstow now looks around the outside of Tainsy, is very close to the back of Tainsy. And Luca has spun round. Luca has spun round in that stadium section. We have not seen what happened there, but fact is, back to P8 for him. This will give Luke Walstow a little bit of space, because he knows he doesn't need to do it. He has no one behind who is fighting for his position. So if everything goes well, if he just keeps it between the lines, doesn't get any time penalty, he will get that P4. But what a shame for Luka Jovic, who probably tangled, it's a shame for Luka Jovic, who was tangled around probably by either Wagdy or Alex. We don't know that because we didn't saw that. But hell, what a race for Luca. Alord gets another 3-second time penalty. He and Hardy are really the penalty kings this evening. Luke still very close to the back of Tainsy. But he doesn't need to do that. But of course, as a driver, you want to finish ahead of your competition. On track. So is he going for it? Is he now going for it into turn 1? No, he's not close enough into turn 1. So we also see that Wagdy is very close to the back end of Alex, who already managed to come back on that hard compound tire into P6. And oh no, is that a Groger again? P11 for him. He is having the worst race a driver could have in Mexico. And he is also stopping the car. I thought he was going to retire. Yes, he is. He is going to retire on track. We can call that a rage quit from a Groger. And he is out of this race. And we see that Ovek takes the checkered flag. He wins back to back. He wins in Jeddah. He now wins in Mexico and stays ahead of his competition by a mile. Ben Dixon will take P2. P3 is for Knudsen. The podium is complete. And Luke Walstow, like I said, will take P4 after all those penalties. Tainsy P5. Alex after a fight back. P6, Wagdy P7, P8 from Luka Jovic, who will not be happy at all with that result. P9 for Gandalf and P10 for Schurzy. And Hardy takes that fastest lap of the race. So it will not count for anyone who got it in that top 10. We are only waiting for Alord, who finished last but gets all the confetti in that stadium section. Probably we would say, is that confetti for me? But it isn't. It isn't. It is for this guy, Ovek, who wins back to back. He wins in Mexico City and he stays ahead in the driver standings. What a race we have seen. Here he is, again, with his steering wheel. It is all possible in this game, of course. What a race we have seen. And a brilliant, brilliant race, especially from Ovek. And of course Knudsen. Both are on the podium, again. As we look at the final standings, the top 10. Like I said, Ovek, Ben Dixon P2, Nitson P3, Luke Wallstow P4, Tainsy P5, Alex P6, Wagdy P7, Luka Jovic P8, Gandalf P9, and Scherzi complete that list on the top 10 with a P10 finish for the Haas. This was it for this week. What a race we have seen. But fear not, we are back already next week in the Netherlands, in Zandvoort. Mark your calendars. Next week, 7 p.m. UK, 8 p.m. Central Eastern Time. I see you next week. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all for supporting. Don't forget to follow. Don't forget to join our Discord. Race with us. And I'll see you next week. Thank you and goodbye.